What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Red Menace TV. Leroy Lucero, along with Michael Carlisle. What kind? I like your shirt. Can you show your shirt?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess.
I mean, does that not look like a political sign for the political season?
It's a Nate Diaz shirt, dude.
I get it. I mean, maybe he's running for something. I don't know, but that's what it looks like.
Weed commissioner, maybe, but that's about it.
That job may be open here in the state of New Mexico, as Governor Lujan Grisham is really pushing that hard. So that might be a position that's available.
Well, he'd have to move here first.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it works.
You never know anymore. Hey, some breaking news. Well, it's not really breaking. It happened yesterday, I guess. Paul Krebs turned himself in.
He did.
And there's a photo of him with the numbers behind it. That's a photo you never really want of yourself, is it?
No.
No, I didn't think so. It's like, okay, here we go. At least they didn't have the one, I guess they don't do the thing where you hold the sign, prisoner number, blah, 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 and then you take the side view like that.
I got to be honest.
You never been
way out of my my wheelhouse there. I have no idea.
Well, hey, we weren't here last week. Obviously, I had some school stuff going on. So
You had a field trip.
I had a field trip. Yeah.
You had a field trip. So it's not even that you're a 70-year-old college student. You went on a field trip like a middle school kid, like an elementary school kid. Did she have to sign the permission slip?
Well, she came and took us through the zoo and stuff, you know.
My God.
Anyways, so we didn't get a chance to talk about the Lobos' victory against Sam Houston State. And obviously that huge victory was overshadowed by the medical condition of Bob Davie. Mm-hmm. We still don't know what it is. Speaking with Adam Deal here, and then you prior to the show starting, does it matter? Does it matter what his medical condition is? Because he didn't reveal it yesterday either. At the
It does. Look, people by nature are inquisitive. We all want to know. As people in me, we all want to know. But no, quite frankly, it's. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's Bob Davie's business. It's his right. If he wants to say what it was, he does. If he doesn't, he won't. Up till now, he hasn't. I think if you watched his press conference yesterday, you heard the audio clips, just listening to what he talked about, you can draw your own conclusions.
Sure.
He talked about, it's strange, but it's not uncommon. He's never dealt with blood pressure issues. He's never had cholesterol problems. So, but yet something like this happens. Read between the lines.
So,
if you're that concerned, right. If you really want to know that bad, just read between the lines and draw your own conclusion.
A lot of people, when it first happened, I think the thought was, is he going to coach again?
I think the first thought was, is he going to live? Because it was dude.
Yeah,
you weren't there.
You've
forsaken the Lobos. You don't go anymore. It was a scary scene.
But I have people in there. I have people on the scene.
Well, be that as it may, it was a scary scene. There was a lot of concern over what was going on with him, and I didn't in any way mean that flippantly. It was legit. Is he going to survive? Is he going to be okay? By the next day, by Sunday, we started getting reports. He's recovering. He's getting better. So you knew then, but no, that was a very.
I agree with you. At the first of the scene, and even so, in knowing people that have survived heart attacks and having one myself, that is the first thing. And then I think once you start finding out he's recovered, it's like, was he going to coach again? I think that's what a lot of people thought. Look, regardless of what happened that night, physically or whatever, Bob Davy's on the hot seat. I don't think there's any kind of there's no secret to that. Everyone knows he's on the hot seat.
He's 1-0, man. Come on.
Yeah, that means absolutely nothing.
I know. No, so for sure, the way the last couple of years have gone.
And guess what? He'll remain 1-0 after Saturday's game because he's not coaching.
No, this goes on his record.
Oh, it does? Well, how come when Mike Loxley was fired, it went on someone else's record?
Well, because he was fired, Bob Davy is on a leave of absence. So that would be your difference there.
Okay, I see. Okay. Well, okay, so it goes on his record. So there'll be 1-1 after Saturday. Regardless of Mayor Keller's and Pete Buttigieg's bet. Well, I don't even know what the bet was. Did you?
It was a bunch of New Mexico goodies versus a bunch of South Bend, Indiana goodies.
What kind of goodies are there at South Bend, Indiana?
I don't know. I'll find out this weekend for you.
You will. Okay, thank you.
I'm on the case. I will report back.
Oh, you're going to South Bend.
Yeah.
First time ever, huh?
Yeah,
Have you
to
ever
South
seen
Bend,
a Notre
yeah.
Dame game?
No.
Are you excited about that or not?
Sure.
Really?
Yeah. Look, I don't want to sound too cool for school or anything like that, but look, I'm going there to do a job. It's part of the radio broadcast.
Go hang out and see
sure. Well,
Touchdown Jesus, Gold Domes, and all that stuff.
I'm pretty sure I'll go check out Touchdown Jesus. No, absolutely.
Are you going to take a selfie?
Maybe.
Okay.
Doesn't everybody?
I think so.
Doesn't all your classmates take selfies?
Well, yeah, but you're too cool for school, you just said.
Well, no, I just meant in terms of getting excited. Ooh, I get to go to Notre Dame this week. Or, a couple of years ago, Lobos played in Texas. Last year, was it A&M last year? They went. And don't get me wrong, all those are fun. But yeah,
You're working.
I'm working.
You're a working man, doing all that you can to bring home the bacon. Gotcha.
I can bring home the bacon. I can fry it up in a pan.
That's a chick's thing, dude.
I know, but still,
just
dude.
saying, it's all right.
No, whoa. It's 2019, man.
Oh.
First of all, chicks, highly offensive. Second of all, no. Anything women can do, men can do. Anything
better.
Well, no, I did not say that.
I did.
But point being, men can do anything women can do. Dude, it's a whole new world out there.
Okay.
I'm
a 70-year-old college student.
As a liberal college student, should know this.
No, that'll never be a liberal.
God.
I'll be a college student, but I won't. Anyway, we're digressing there. But anyway, yeah. So going back to the heart attack, I think a lot of people started thinking,
you're just assuming.
The thing it kind of overshadowed, and no one's really talked about, is the lack of crowd that was there. Obviously, there was pictures before the game on various social media outlets that was showing the east side of the stadium, which is always empty in these afternoon games early.
Well, it's always empty any game, but
yeah, but it was extra empty.
No. Look, the majority of the fans always sit on the west side.
Yeah, well, because
and even more so, like you said, afternoon game where it was hot as all get out.
Yeah,
anyway.
no,
the
it was
sun's
brutal.
beating down over there. Most of the people who were sitting on the east side were actually over in the corner under the tree. And yeah, that is always a bad look.
Yeah, I mean it's and obviously the end zone section was pretty much empty too, and I don't think they ever really filled up. I mean, once the sun went down a little bit, few people kind of trickled over there. But that was also over. How many do you guesstimate were there?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, you don't guesstimate? You're doing a job.
I was working, dude.
Count?
I don't have time to.
You're
try-
sitting
to
there
try to count
pressing
the
buttons. You
crowd.
don't have time to count.
No. I'm
Okay.
working.
All right. Well, I'm going to assume there was probably 8,000 there.
Okay.
Is that a good assumption on my part?
I have no idea.
Dude.
What? I don't.
You didn't even like think about it? Like, oh, you know what? You're right, because I sent you a text asking you. And you didn't even respond.
You know why?
You were busy,
I
or
was working.
or you didn't pay attention.
I was working.
I thought you were gonna say I don't pay attention
Dude,
to your texts.
not to
I
come
blocked
off-
your calls.
Not to come off like a smart aleck, but if you were really that concerned about getting a real number,
Yeah.
being a hard-hitting journalist, getting
yeah.
a real number, you should have just painted up your face and went and sat in the north
Dude.
end zone like you used to do.
Dude, I was in Milne Stadium calling a football game for ProView Networks. I was working as well.
So while you work, you just text,
I was working with
you
Alden.
text insignificant questions to people while you work.
Well, I can multitask. I'm pretty good at that. I was writing a paper, calling a football game.
Let me
and
ask you
sending
this,
a
Leroy,
text.
because
Yes.
there was a nasty rumor last week.
Yeah,
you didn't show up to the show. Allegedly, you
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a field trip to go on.
Yeah.
I heard you cleaned out your office here at ProView Networks. Is that true?
Yeah, it's underneath the stairs there. I'm like Harry Potter, dude. I totally picked up my backpack and rolled out.
I would never say I'm like Harry Potter.
Well, dude, I have like a magic wand and a Patronus. I just don't know what it is right now.
You have a magic wand and you drink Patron? What did you just say?
Well, there could be that as well. So, speaking of that, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk.
Speaking of that, let's take a break.
Yeah. Sometimes you
What the
need
heck kind of segue was that?
You need a break to drink your Patronus. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more Red Menace TV and the NFL.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, #life change will occur.
So back to pass now as Harris steps back and fires, and he's going deep across the middle, and it's caught. Malik Phillips dancing away.
In the first half, he's been under pressure all game anyway. Smith back to pass. They're trying to set up the screen to Barker, and they've got blockers in front. Barker cuts it back. Barker in the open field, 40, 45, 50. Barker's got one man to beat. Barker may go to the house, and he will. Caden Barker Jordan Barker touchdown, Carlsbad.
But here we go. Let's see how he does.
Cabrales will kick off from the 40 and
Drives it hard.
And here they try to see that reverse again.
He fakes it.
Oh, he's got it. He's got one man to beat and a blocker in front. 35, 40, 50, 45, he's gone. There's no cornet that will catch him. Opening kickoff return for Slade Campos, 80 yards. And
ball falls for Nava, puts it forward for Moyers. Moyers gets it past the keeper, and it's 2-1.
Denard all by himself. They're looking for him. They throw it in the end zone. Underthrown and caught. How about that? Mercy. Trevon Denard. Wow.
It's his night.
It's his night.
What's up? Uses that foot. No, this time she goes low. And there's a scrum there. The ball's loose. And it's up and it's in.
How about that? Going top shelf.
Good dump and then a good wherewithal to keep it up. There's Jones on a good dig. Martinez. Huggins was blocked into a middle. Kept alive and then dumped back over. Let's keep playing, girls. Cross court this time from Cooperno. Jones sets to the outside. McIntosh was blocked. That's knocked back over. We'll continue the rally. Cooper on the right hand. Back row and McIntosh, a little miscommunication with Lucero. Let's see if that fires up these Cougars. Harris has some time. And a rollout looking. Harris fires on the move and it's complete. Slipping one is Webskowski and another, and it's a foot race. Shot out of a cannon. Justin Webskowski. Can he take it all the way? Touchdown.
The Jaguars. There's Smith again, cuts it back. Nice run by Smith, still on his feet, going to the end zone. Touchdown.
Harris with a fake pitch, and now a run to the outside, and he's got some room. Nice move, Harris, look out. He's across the 40, a cut to midfield. He's got a blocker in front. Look out. Chance Harris, shot out of a cannon, and he's going to take it all the way. Touchdown.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili. Tempt your taste buds with mouth-watering fresh ingredients.
Cut! We're gonna need another Laguna Burger. Try the irresistible, world-famous Laguna Burger. Visit thelagunaburger.com. It's fresh with a kick. Take 32.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
ABQ ER and Hospital is changing the way you see ER in Albuquerque. We promise to see each patient within 10 minutes of arrival. ABQ ER and Hospital is now offering $25 school physicals, with 100% of proceeds donated back to the schools.
So looking at Krebs' mugshot here, dude, I never realized he was 6'2", maybe 6'2¼ with the hair sticking up like that.
Yeah. And I noticed he's wearing a white T-shirt, gangster style.
Well, you know, if you're going to get locked up, you got to look. It's like
got to play the
like
part.
That Will Ferrell movie where Kevin Hart trains him to go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he's looking all hard and junk.
Yeah. I'm used to wearing like.
Oh crap! Are we back?
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad.
I'm used to the collar and the tie, and he's just wearing the wife beater. There.
No. It's not a wife beater. It's not a tank top, but it does look like just a white T-shirt.
It's just a white T-shirt, like an undershirt,
Either that,
The goatee makes him look hard, though.
Could be a Lobo shirt.
Like a leftover?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it have been red, though?
Well,
I guess there are white ones.
Yeah, they have white ones.
There are white ones, usually those giveaways or whatever. I wonder if it says shot out of the cannon from like one of the, you know how they put the cannon in there and they shoot them in the air and the fans try to grab them and then you open it up and it's like one of the sponsors or whatever. And there's no Lobo logo on it, just the sponsor. Hey, WinStars Network, blah, 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 blah.
I did not realize he was that tall, dude.
Yeah, well.
Crazy.
Usually when he's here.
The things you learn about people when they get arrested. Or excuse me, when they turn themselves in.
Turn themselves in. Well, I mean, he was booked, right?
I've learned you have to clarify things with Krebs. He did not resign, he retired.
Right. And
he turned himself in.
Speaking of problems and possible jail, it's been 2 weeks since I've been here.
In a second.
What, are you looking me up or what?
Is that a teardrop tattoo he's got drawn on over here? No?
Well, he could have a couple of bodies. Lobo football seems to be on its deathbed.
Well, no, I wasn't.
Lobo basketball got
Let
close.
me be clear.
So.
I wasn't insinuating that. What I was saying was in an effort to look hard and junk.
Okay, and hard and junk.
Right.
Paint on the tattoo.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about guys that are in trouble. Now, I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. I mean, last week. And so we kind of didn't get a chance to talk about Antonio Brown. And, I mean, we've talked a little bit about
but there would have been so much to talk about.
Well, it's every day.
Right.
And
since then.
And I was going to, segueing from being hard and stuff, now all of a sudden Antonio Brown's being accused of sexual assault now that he's a Patriot. Interesting selfie with him and Tom Terrific. Oh, you can't call him Tom Terrific because he lost that lawsuit or whatever, right? Or lost that case. The greatest quarterback in the history of NFL football, Tom Brady, and him there. And then the nonsense that went on with the Raiders always. I mean, it is 2019, and I realize we're in like the Twitter sphere and we're in the YouTube sphere. But I mean, did we really have to see Antonio Brown flopping like a bird, screaming, "I'm free, I'm free"?
He was happy.
He was happy,
He got his
but
release.
do we have to see that?
Look, if you finally force the Raiders to release you and you know you're going to go sign with the Patriots, you'd be running around flapping your arms too.
Well, I mean, and you knew he already had the Patriots gig locked up. I mean, I saw you tweet it, and I tweeted back to you, and you were like, yeah, this is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, speaking of magic wands, all of a sudden, here we go.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick signs him, boom, done. It's over. Now, this Super Bowl, former Raider wide receivers. Amari Cooper with the Dallas Cowboys, Antonio Brown with the New England Patriots.
Well, there's no guarantees Antonio Brown is a Patriot by then.
He might be in
know,
jail.
for
the longest yard with Paul Cruz?
No, not just that, but, you know.
Oh, he might get kicked out?
It didn't go that well with Oakland.
Right.
Obviously, the end of his time in Pittsburgh didn't go well either. Now, I believe he will be a much better teammate and a good soldier, if you will, with the Patriots. But you never know. But if he's not, Belichick won't put up with that crap. They'll just cut him.
Yeah.
To be honest, they didn't need to sign him.
It was kind of
It was just, hey, we
he's
can
there.
get him. Let's get him because he's a heck of a wide receiver.
Right.
We'll give Tom Brady possibly the best wide receiver he's ever had. Now, I know Moss was there
Randy
a couple
Moss
of years.
was there.
Moss was there the year they went undefeated and then lost in the Super Bowl.
I was going to say, I don't think they ever won a Super Bowl with Randy Moss, did they?
I don't know.
I don't believe they did.
He was there 3 years.
Yeah, I don't believe they did. I think that was the between winning early with the Vinatieri kicks and then winning late with just the Tom Brady greatness. Because the first Super Bowls weren't Tom Brady greatness. It was their defense and Vinatieri.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden you had the Randy Moss, and then after that, then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this guy's actually pretty good, this Brady guy.
Oh, I think we knew before then that he was pretty good.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was like at that point, he had shown that he was good, but it was after that, towards the later, I think, where it was just like, this dude's phenomenal. I think it was mostly their defense. Other things, your Redskins, really, you had to be excited on Sunday, or were you not? Did you know that the other boot was going to drop at any time?
Look, I've seen enough Redskins games to know how that turns out. Yeah, I knew. Look, don't get me wrong, I was excited. Wow, 17-0. I knew. I knew Philly was going to come back. Now, I thought the Redskins would just get conservative. They really didn't. They just stopped playing defense.
They just went back to being the Redskins.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it is what it is.
And then you have to talk about the glorious Dallas Cowboys.
No, I think you do. Jerry needs to break out the checkbook for Dak now.
Oh, he will.
Because the price ain't going down. It's only going to go up.
I heard the announcers, I thought what they said was great, is like, if there was not a salary cap, Jerry Jones would pay everybody everything. He doesn't care.
Oh, yeah.
He'll spend the money.
Sure.
And I know Jerry Jones catches a lot of heat, deservedly so, for some of his, coaching hires and some of it. But when it comes to like paying players, he's like, no problem. When it comes to signing players, he's like, I'll scratch a check. I just want to win. Now they haven't, but he's no problem to scratch a check. I think anyone would like an owner like that that's willing to scratch a check and not worry about it, because that's great. I mean, he's still got to take care of Dak and Amari Cooper, which I think he will.
I don't think Amari Cooper resigns there.
You don't think so?
I think Amari Cooper becomes a free agent.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, but he's having a pretty good year. How about Jason Witten coming back?
It's been one game. How could you say he's having a pretty good year?
Well, that's a year so far. He had a year one day.
He's had a pretty good game.
You might be right because Gallup stepped up. And how about Reggie Cobb? I mean, talking about pulling someone off the trash heap, the one free agent signing you make, and he turns out to be pretty good. I guess Witten wouldn't be considered a free agent.
No.
Though he was.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
Because
he retired while still under contract
okay.
with the Cowboys.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And he came back. That was probably a positive
Yeah,
move for him. I mean, from going to be the lousiest.
He looked a lot better on the field Sunday than he sounded in the booth last year.
I mean, would you rather have Witten in the on the field or in the booth at any time?
On the field.
Yeah.
On the field.
I think every football fan would agree with you on that one because
sure.
that was just a nightmare. Though ESPN, they do Monday Night Football still, right?
Right.
When was the last time they really had a good crew? I mean, did you like the crew that they had this Monday night?
Well, Tessitore and Booger McFarland, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible.
And you can't really judge the second crew, the crew for the Raiders Broncos game, because that was just thrown together for that game.
Right,
with
right.
Steve Levy and Brian Greasy and whoever the other guy was, I forget.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I do not. I don't care for Booger McFarland.
No, I think I think he was terrible, and I think that him being terrible, and Witten being not so good, those two combined were just horrific.
I will say this about McFarland. I think in the right situation, in a three-man booth where he can just be himself, and you have a good analyst there for the number 2 guy, I think that could work. But yeah, I'm just not a McFarland.
So
fan.
do you go back to? Gosh, I'm trying to think of a Monday night crew that I liked.
I'd bring back Joe Theismann, but that's just me.
Oh,
dude, Joe Theismann was phenomenal as a commentator.
I didn't think so. Yeah, just because you're a Redskin fan.
No, nothing to do with that. I just thought he was good.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I wasn't that big of a fan of him as a quarterback.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The little guy with the single bar?
Yeah.
He looks kind of silly. It's looked kind of silly with that, right? You had to like him. They won a championship for you.
Yeah.
Well, you were a little kid then, weren't you?
Yeah. They also got blown out the next year by the Raiders in the Super Bowl.
Well, they did a lot of that too.
That scarred me.
I thought there was the Browns. How about the Browns? Is that not like the biggest? Is that a disappointment, or is it just they were overhyped so much because of the Beckham sign? Beckham. I can't even think of his name all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham.
Odell Beckham Jr., yeah.
Do you think that, I mean, just that hype and then to come crashing down to earth like that? I mean, and they didn't just lose. I mean, they got walloped.
To be fair, it's just one game.
Yeah.
But to quote the late, great Dennis Green, the Browns are who we thought they were, or at least who I thought they were. Everybody else was
so
on
you
Browns
were not on the Brown bandwagon at all?
No, I don't think they're winning the division. I don't think they're getting a wild card.
No.
Look, they'll probably be better than they've been.
They'll score a lot. I think they'll
over
score a
past
lot of
years.
points.
Right. I do like Baker Mayfield, even though he had a terrible game. But no, they're still the Browns. You've still got a head coach who had no head coaching experience and had never been a coordinator or calling plays until you fired the head coach last season. You've got a lot of inexperience there. And yeah, they brought in some talent. That doesn't always.
They brought in some offensive talent. Their defense seems terrible. Offensively, they can. I mean, Mayfield can wing the ball. I still don't like their running back. What's his name, Chubb or whatever. I don't really care for him. But I just thought, I think they have a decent combination. I think Mayfield's a legit quarterback. I think he's pretty good.
I do too.
And Beckham's all right. But how much is that guy he's still living off a few one-handed catches?
Well, no, I think he's talented. Now, we talk about Antonio Brown and baggage and things. Well, there's a lot that comes along with Odell Beckham Jr.
Sure, of course. Jets suck.
I don't know that they suck, but that was a gut kick.
Dude, you lost to the Bills.
Well, the Bills are out there trying to win as well, but you're up 10-0 and you wind up, or actually you're up 16-3 and you wind up losing 17-16. That's for a team that's supposed to be a lot better. That was a kick in the gut.
Not. Well, hey, we're actually done with the show now. Can you believe it? Half hour goes by fast.
You're going to go put the stuff back in your office now?
Yeah, of course.
Since you're back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I carry a backpack. It's light. You always have to be ready to move. Go on the move.
What are you, a hobo? You got a string and
That's
a
Hobo Hank.
bandana
Don't be
with stuff in
dogging.
there?
We'll wrestle for food. We'll do television for food. Hey, Michael, real quick. Lobos, Notre Dame. What's the score?
A lot to a lot less.
Okay, I'm going to go 72-5.
No.
Yeah.
They won't score.
Why not?
No.
Hey, For Michael Carlisle, for Alden Iowani, this is Leroy Lucero, Red Menace TV. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. Stay tuned for Micah Frankel and Cage Minds. To Hernandez, he's the hot hand.
Okay.
Steps back and buries the trifecta. Uh-oh.
All right.
Up front, Eckroff, and stolen once again, this time by Panilli. Takes it up. Atler blocks it. Here's Quais from Taos
High School.
up north. He had a good game for the juniors here.
Head coach Thomas Chavez. Here we go. That's nice.
Just a straight dunk. Gives it to Paredes, lays it up. Back to Agbaosi, layup, and the dunk!
Yeah!
By Deraje Agbaosi.
Good block. This is Jose from Highland. Here we go.
Little spinneroonie there.
It's here. Here we go.
Throws it up.
Oh, that was nice. That was nice.
Scarpa, no hesitation in firing a three. Followed up nicely on the slam by Jefferson. That is a beautiful play by Jefferson. Javon Jefferson of El Dorado. Wow, what a follow.
Las Cruces.
Oh,
he makes that. 3-point play. 4-pointer.
Okay, that was just nasty. Okay.
Jets going.
Oh, there it is.
All right.
Okay, did you get that one?
I got that one.
All right.
Is this my car? State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog! Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
ABQ ER and Hospital is changing the way you see ER in Albuquerque. We promise to see each patient within 10 minutes of arrival. ABQ ER and Hospital is now offering $25 school physicals, with 100% of proceeds donated back to the schools.
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds. I'm Micah Frankel. It was another big international week this past weekend for the UFC as they were overseas in Abu Dhabi. The lightweight title was on the line. It was a quiet week for boxing. We got highlights to cover all the MMA action. So if you could, Alden, let's jump right into it. Start off Friday night with Invicta Phoenix Rising 2. It was the flyweight tournament. 8 women competing. There in the semifinals, rear naked choke advancing to the finals is Miranda Ranger. And then also duplicating that feat was Bennett. And then into the finals, you have your winner, Miranda Maverick, 2 rear naked chokes, winning that flyweight tournament. Also, Friday night, you have Access TV had LFA 75. Start off with the heavyweights. Eric Amon, I'm talking about 1 counter left hand, a quick knockout of Turney Darling. Jared Jewer, a body kick stops Mike Jones. And in the main event, Andrew Cruz submits John Neal with a rear naked choke. Now we'll go over to, like we said, that UFC event that was in Abu Dhabi. A really fun card. Again, early in the morning, Muslim Sakiev gets us started in the highlights. That big overhand right takes out Nordine Taleb. About 30 seconds left in the first round. Devastating right hand. Talk about devastating right hands on the FX prelims. Ottman, Azatar, 12-0 now, defeating Teemu Packalén. That was a vicious right hand through the ear, just devastating. Heavyweights, Curtis Blades, steamroll Shamil Darmahimov, ground and pound elbows, brutal devastation from the Chicago fighter training out of Colorado, keeps on working towards a title shot. I mean, Blades is bringing it all together. In the co-main event, it was back and forth. It was an absolute war. I had the first round for Barbosa, great kicks. Felder was able to start putting the pressure together and landing his strikes. I felt in the second and third. A split decision in the co-main event. Paul Felder picks up the win. Unifying the lightweight title, Khabib Nurmagomedov reaches now the feat of 28-0, undefeated, taking care of Dustin Poirier with a third-round submission victory, the rear naked choke, a relentless wrestling effort from Nurmagomedov, as he's trademarked to do, was definitely on display. And Poirier had an opportunity, had that Hail Mary, had a deep rear naked choke. Nurmagomedov escapes, retains the title after the fight. We've seen the NBA do it. We've seen NFL players do it. These fighters did it. A jersey swap. That shirt that Khabib is wearing was auctioned off later. All proceeds are going to Dustin Poirier's foundation. The Eagle looking to make his mark in not only in fighting, but trying to show his true intentions as a person, unlike what we saw 10 months ago against Conor McGregor. Saturday night, we also had Bellator action. The featherweight Grand Prix kicking off the opening round. A submission victory for former title challenger Emmanuel Sanchez. Hands Taiwan Claxton his first loss. It was a triangle choke. Move on. Pedro Carvalho is advancing. The unbeaten in Bellator fighter is able to submit UFC vet Sam Cecilia. It was a face crunch, neck crank kind of move. Unbeaten Hungarian Adam Borash is able to pick up a TKO victory, stopping former 2-time champion Pat Curran with 1 second left on the clock in the second round. In the co-main event, a dominant wrestling performance from Derek Campos will see him advancing, defeating former 2-time champion Daniel Strauss. And into the main event, controversial fashion, we have a no contest. Ryan Bader almost knocks out Chet Congo with the first 2 left hooks that he lands. They went to the ground. Bader is still dominating, gets into the Khabib Nurmagomedov position, which is being able to mount on the legs, working his way up the legs, ground and pound. Well, Congo is the sitting upright position on his lower region, obviously legs spread out, back against the cage. During this interaction, a thumb goes kind of in this area. Congo's holding his eye. The ref jumps in. It looks like there's an eye poke. Quite possibly, when you go look back at it, maybe in slow motion, maybe you just feel like Ryan Bader actually went thumb up the nose of Congo, and Congo's acting a little. Either way, a disappointing end to that Bellator main event, a no contest in a fight that the champion was utterly dominating. Let's not undersell that. Bader was dominating Czech Congo in every instance of that fight, and unfortunately, it is a no contest. And then, unfortunately for the sport, we have the extracurriculars after. No footage, but I got to talk about it. Rampage Jackson, a friend of Czech Congo, a former training partner, decides, because he sees the blatant foul apparently in his fight, in his mind, he decides that Ryan Bader is a criminal and is going into the cage to defend his friend. Not to mention they've already fought. Bader's already beat Rampage. We could throw that out of the window. Rampage is trying to start a fight. It's just craziness, Bellator, that you were allowing it to even happen. Rampage went all Rampage, keeping it classy like he always does. And the champ Ryan Bader having to put up with such nonsense. It's unexcusable at this point. I feel like after reviewing the footage enough times, I was unmade up for a while, but it looks like Czech Congo was looking for a way out. And hopefully Bellator moves on from this heavyweight title fight and rewards Vitaly Minakov for his win recently over Timothy Johnson of the fight that we deserve. Vitaly Minakov, the former champion, against Ryan Bader. That is the real heavyweight title fight that Bellator needs to be putting together at this point. So some controversial endings to the end of the last week in Bellator. Talked about the UFC event. What's next for those guys? I got to throw out real quick, Nurmagomedov, and this is brilliant strategy, threw out that he would like to fight GSP. It's been thrown out there many times. But the reason the fight won't happen is because the UFC doesn't want to risk GSP winning and beating Nurmagomedov. You'd say, why would they have so much invested in one fighter? It's not that they have so much invested in one fighter. It's that the UFC finally understands they have so much invested in the division. They put up the middleweight division on the line and in peril already when they had elevated GSP at UFC 217 to the opportunity of facing Michael Bisping. And when GSP won the title and then subsequently retired again, leaving the belt vacant, it left a sour taste in the mouth of the promotion. They've already seen this before. GSP wins a big fight. He becomes the champion. He's going to walk away from the sport. Well, now that he fought at 185 pounds, telling the promotion he'd like to jump down to 155, they're not inspired to give him the title shot. And I totally agree. When you have a Dustin Poirier who had won 9 out of 10, 5 in a row, he earned the fight that he got at UFC 242, even though it did not turn out in his favor. Apparently, next for Nurmagomedov, it would be Tony Ferguson. And we can all understand that this fight has been jinxed. Nurmagomedov versus Ferguson has tried to be put together several times. One party or the other has gotten injured, and it has just not happened. But that is the fight to make in the lightweight division. And I know it sounds like we love big fights because this is a big fight era. But the UFC is going back to the divisions, and that's where it makes sense. But then Nurmagomedov, in the post-fight press conference, raised the ante. Said that if he fought GSP, all proceeds and profits should be donated to Africa into getting that country clean water. Now, when you're talking about doing something for the good of humanity and becoming a global citizen, I understand that that's not what helps the bottom line. But it's something that inspires me to say, maybe we should make the Nurmagomedov versus GSP fight, because if it's something that could benefit the world and not just a couple guys' pocketbooks, that inspires me to think this is something worth doing. I'm not sure if that kind of pressure will actually mean anything to the UFC, but again, Nurmagomedov is working as hard as he possibly can to show the kind of person that he truly is, and to show what happened with the Irishman was an isolated incident because of obviously a heightened emotional situation caused by the verbatim. Well, that was a lot of stuff from the UFC and from Bellator this past week. Boxing is back in a big way this weekend. So let's get in the ring and see what's coming up this weekend. We'll start Friday night going up to the Big Apple, New York. It's on DAZN. You have Heather Hardy versus Amanda Seriano in the co-main event. It's a 10-rounder for Hardy's WBO women's featherweight title. And then in the main event, Devin Haney and Zura Adulev go 12 rounds for the vacant WBC interim lightweight title. One more time, you can check that out on DAZN. Saturday night on ESPN Plus from Las Vegas. On the undercard, you have Jose Perazzo and Jose Zapata. You have a title fight, Emmanuel Navarrete and Juan Miguel Alporta. That is 12 rounds for Navarrete's WBO junior featherweight title. All leading up to the main event. Top Rank Boxing's lineal heavyweight champion Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallin. This is for Fury's lineal title. Saturday night also on DAZN, Carson, California, Jaime Maguela and Patricia Altaloy go 12 rounds for Magdalena's WBO junior middleweight title. Unbeaten Ryan Garcia is also in action on the undercard that leads up to Francisco Cruz Dezaro versus Alejandro Jimenez. 10 rounds for Cruz Duran's WBC Women's Super. Oh, that was the first one. Sorry, this is Jaime Magellan versus Patrick Altaloy. I'm reading my notes backwards. Apologies on that one. Golden Boy Promotions with a great boxing card coming towards us Saturday night there on DAZN. Got a little tongue-tied there at the end. Sorry about that. We talked about what's going on this week in the ring. Now let's get in the cage this week. We got a pair of big-time events coming up for you. Friday night, it's on Access TV, LFA 76, Park City, Kansas. You got unbeaten prospects Ty Clark and Tyler Ingram, part of the undercard. Co-main event has Chris Harris. We've seen him in big fights. He's a former title challenger in the LFA, taking on Bellator vet Joaquin Buckley. Main event, Trey Ogden faces Nick Brown. Ogden 5-2 in the last 3 years, 3-0 in the LFA. And Brown has 6 of his 8 wins by submission. We go up then to Saturday, where UFC Fight Night is back on ESPN+. It's UFC Fight Night 158, Vancouver, Canada. We're talking about number 4 ranked lightweight contender Donald Cowboy Cerrone versus number 5 ranked former WSOF champion Justin Gaethje. According to Landon Venata, who went on with me to the Sparks Bar yesterday with Mike Trujillo and Michael Carlisle, the two Gaethje, a Colorado training fighter now, and Cerrone, a Colorado native, have trained together before, and supposedly Cowboy has knocked out Gaethje. There's a mental advantage coming to what I'm sure is already on paper a fight of the year-esque candidate. I'm so excited for this one. Not to mention also on the card in the co-main event, number 9 ranked Glover Teixeira takes on number 13 ranked Nikita Krylov. Krylov, a former EFN Fight Night champion. He's coming off of a submission of OSP. Teixeira back-to-back consecutive submission victories, a resurgence of the former lightweight title challenger. Also on the card, a top 15 middleweight matchup. Number 12 ranked highlight reel producing knockout artist Uriah Hall takes on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt tough Brazil winner Antonio Carlos Jr., nicknamed Shoeface. Pretty sure if you've heard it before, you recognize that one. Also 10-0 and being Australian, Jimmy Crute can jump into the rankings if he can get past number 15, Misha Serkinov. That one is in the light heavyweight division, just like our co-main event. And 2 insanely good bouts featuring bantamweight prospects are on the undercard. Tough winner 8-1 Brad Katona takes on unbeaten, coming off of the Contender Series, Hunter Azure coming out of the lab from Arizona. That one is going to be a fun one. Also unbeaten Cole Smith versus former LFA champion unbeaten Miles Johns. A great card to check out on ESPN Plus from Vancouver. It's stacked with a lot of prospects and a fight of the year-esque candidate in the main event. Much more Cage Minds to come as I catch my breath. We got a couple things to talk about when we get back.
To win the race, I can't even explain how, in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. No matter where you go, you're an Indy 500 winner. The only way to be successful in racing is to stay on top of the technical edge, and we've done that with our dealership. So a lot of the technology in our service department and sales processes, everything is the very latest. That gives you an edge. That's being competitive in the car business. You can take it any way you want, but that's the truth.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Just in case you're wondering, yes, this time you are supposed to be seeing me. Welcome back, everybody. As I said, there's a lot to talk about, including some local action that's pretty close to us this weekend. North of the border, No Mercy 67 is taking place up in Colorado. And AJ Robb, training out of the Jackson Wink Academy, is in the main event. It's in Colorado Springs, headlining a fight card in his hometown. I caught up with him over there at the JW Gym to talk about the upcoming fight. If we could throw it to that interview, let's go, Alden. Got a hometown main event back there in Colorado Springs. No Mercy 67. Last poster I saw had you fighting Derek Pettis, but I've heard we've had a change in opponents, right?
Yes, sir. Fighting Benji Gomez now. Guy from California, 8-12. It should be fun. Boxer, brawler. His nickname is The Brawler, so it'll be fun. You know, I love the brawl too.
I don't know if it's possible, but you were able to still have the same stylistic opponent, and if possible, a guy with even more experience than Derek. I didn't think you'd be able to get in that situation. So how do you prepare now?
You know, my camp's been the same. You know, I was prepared for whatever came my way. I knew Derek wasn't going to be easy. He has more wins than me. I knew Benji's not going to be easy. He has more wins than me. But I think I'm on a whole different level compared to both those guys. Those guys are just stepping stones to the next step in my career. So I'm ready. I'm prepared for however the fight. If it goes 3 rounds, I'll grind it out 3 rounds. If I get a knockout, if I get a submission, whatever, I'm going for the finish the whole time. But if it goes 3 rounds, I'm prepared for that too. So I'm prepared. This is like one of my best camps I've ever had. Spent the last 6 weeks out here in Albuquerque just grinding. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm prepared.
Talk to me about the excitement, the pro main event in your hometown. I know you've had some big fights as an amateur there, but does it feel different now as a pro?
Yeah, definitely. Being the main event, you know, and in my hometown, you know, born and raised, 24 years in Colorado Springs, finally getting the chance to, you know, show out for my people, show out for everyone who supported me, you know, people who wanted to come to fights for a very long time, but they couldn't because it was out of town, or a lot of my last 3 pro fights were all on Friday nights for LFA, so nobody was able to come to that. This one will be on a Saturday night. Everyone will be able to come out, old coaches, old teachers, old friends, family. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be basically a family reunion. It's going to be so much fun. The energy in the building is going to be ridiculous. I'm super excited for that.
Now, we've seen previous camps. You split half the time, went back home to the 719 fight team, and you'd be down here with JW. For this camp, it looks like you've totally focused in down here in Albuquerque. What was the mindset behind the preparation?
I think just last year, you know, me, you know, moving down here, I didn't really, you know anybody, but, you know, I'm more of a, you know, it takes me a little bit to, you know, trust people and, you know, to cling to people and you know, to feel like they're a part of my team. So it just took me a little bit longer to get used to all the Jackson Wink guys, get all my coaches out here on the same page. But now, you know, after being out here for a year and a half, got everybody on the same page, you know, coaches believing in me, my teammates believing in me, my teammates help me out with extra things, extra drilling, you know, get to, you know, drill Pat Mix all the time. He's 11-0 Bellator, Andrew Tennyson, 8-1 pro, just a bunch of, you know, guys that are in the top level of their sport that I get to just train with, and they get to help me all the time compared to last year when I didn't really, you know, I wasn't really as close with them as I am now. So I think that's what makes me just stay down here the whole time, that mentality of, training, with John Dotson and Diego Brandao, training with all those guys just puts my confidence, when I fight a guy like Benji Gomez, no disrespect, or Derek Perez, I'm like, you're not training with the same people I'm training with. I'm training just to become a Savage. So that's why I just stayed out here the whole time. I think when I fought Hunter Zero last year, I went back 3 weeks early and I wasn't training with nobody, me, my coach, maybe a couple sideline guys, but no beast, no John Dotsons, no patchy mixes, none of that. So, my mindset, just, I kind of was, I'm the star in Colorado Springs. I'm the star in the fight scene in Colorado Springs. I'm not, necessarily, I feel like I don't have to work as hard, I guess. I'm out here, I got to work as hard. I got to get my picture on that wall. I got to get my picture up there. That's why I stayed out here now for the whole time.
Talk about confidence with those looks in training, the confidence that it gives you.
It just boosts my confidence, to the max, to be on that same level, as John Dodson, as Diego Brandao, to have them speak to you after you train with them, like, bro, you're doing really good, you're really strong, you're powerful, keep it up, keep training, you're gonna go far, to hear little things like that just makes me, okay, I'm doing the right things, I'm in the right place, I'm with the right people. I'm in a room full of savages. There's no way to to get worse out here unless you just don't train, and that's not me. I come to the gym every day. I'm here all day. And I'm training with savages, and that just makes it I just love it. I get home and you fight people. And you're like you're not a UFC caliber level fighter, so I shouldn't be worried about you. But I'm prepared. I'm prepared for whatever. You never know. You get clipped in a fight, and something doesn't go your way. But I'm prepared for whatever. So I love it.
In what areas, what ways do you feel your game has improved?
My ground game tremendously. My grappling is it's through the roof now. My transitions, especially rolling around with Pat, rolling around with Andrew. Just always finding the toughest rounds in the room makes my grappling through the roof, and my striking. I really got my striking going with my coach Alex. Muay Thai, my Muay Thai is looking real nice. I even got people ask me, do I come from a Muay Thai background? I've just been training Muay Thai for the last 4 or 5 years. So this just being out here in this camp and being consistent is the most important thing. I'm very consistent in my training, and it's just been jumping my game just by staying consistent. I guess after my pro debut when I was in Colorado, I wasn't as consistent or as hungry as I was when I first, when I was an amateur and I was a top amateur. I wasn't, I was hungry. Then I went 1-0 pro. Felt like I don't know. I didn't have that same edge to go after the toughest practice.
No Mercy 67 there, taking place in Colorado Springs this weekend. If you feel like going on a little road trip up north, AJ Robb, a spectacular talent trying to make his way up. Now, talking about our local scene, we got a couple things coming up all on the same day. September 28th, Southwest MMA Series 29 taking place at the Buffalo Thunder Resort and Casino. There are 3 pro bouts on the main card, 8 amateur bouts in all. CageMinds.com for the updated article that we just got published recently. Ali Omar Reyes, Jesse Tafoya, Josiah Reyes, part of those professional bouts. Same night, Clovis, New Mexico, Curry County Event Center, also hosting Force of One MMA Fighting Championships. Number 7, Nicholas Webb, Nico Nathan, the main event. Article just up at Cage Minds. And same night, Hobbs, New Mexico host a triple event where it's MMA boxing and kickboxing all in one. School of Hard Knocks Promotions going one championship style. A couple news and notes. Cyborg officially jumps into the Bellator cage. The UFC says they're out of the BJ Penn business. When the UFC goes to Moscow, Junior Dos Santos versus Alexander Volkov will be your main event. Jacare moving up to light heavyweight. UFC in Sao Paulo gonna be facing Jan Blachowicz. So we don't know who's facing John Jones. Our very own from Legacy Boxing Promotions, Aaron Angel Baby Perez has got an offer in September 20th, will be in action on ShowBox. So a lot of big things going on here, locally, nationally, globally. That's why you need to keep up with CageMinds.com. We also heard that Legacy Boxing Promotions is going to be back November 9th, venue to be named, but Isaac Luna versus Guero Sanchez could be on tap for that event. You know that would be a great fight that we're all in much anticipation for. This has been Cage Minds. It's been great talking to you guys this week. Go to the website, check us out all across social media. Thanks always for Red Menace to bringing us here to ProView Networks, and we'll check you guys out next week.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.